Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah. Thanks for watching. Hey, I am Hannah. If we haven't met before, I am a mom and a knitter, and I design some children's knitwear. So my usual podcast episodes, I talk about what I finished, what I've been working on lately, any designs I have coming up, that kind of thing. So yeah, if you're new, thanks for joining. If not, thanks for coming back. I live in North Carolina with my husband and my son. The sweater knitting weather is okay right now. Usually it's a lot colder here. We usually have snow and we haven't had snow. So I'm really hoping we'll get some snow this year, but we'll see. Anyway, welcome back. Today I'm going to share my finished objects. I have a lot to share in terms of finished objects because last week and the week before, no, just last week I went on this like WIP Down sort of personal challenge. If you watched my last video, kind of at the end I was like, oh wow, I was looking at all my works in progress and I was like, this is a lot. And I was starting to feel a little bit of like stress, like will these get done, and why, like I just keep adding like one row to each project. I just wanted them to be done. So I did that. Last week I really focused on just finishing as many works in progress as possible, and so I'll share a little bit of that strategy kind of as I talk, because I had so many things in my head. It was just really hard to, I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? Like I don't mind having a lot of works in progress, but when they start to like take all of my brain space, I need a change. So anyway, that is what I did. And I found this great blog by another Hannah, and I'll link it, but she sort of talks about the snowball method. So picking projects that have like the smallest amount of time until they're done. And so I went through all my WIPs and I looked at what will take the least time to finish, and that way you can kind of finish as many as possible. So I really wanted to finish this sweater. As you can see, I did, but this is what I really wanted to do. But I went through my WIPs and I looked at, you know, what either needs to get done first or what has the least amount of time, you know, that it will take to finish. So the first thing I did was finish this test knit. So I did this first because it was a test knit, not because I thought it would be the shortest amount of time. But anyway, this was a test knit I did for Carla May. I don't even know if I showed it on here. Did I show it last time? I think it was like this big. So I kind of did this in like 24 hours because I was like, just finish as much as possible. It's the softest, squishiest thing ever. There we go. Yeah, it's really beautiful. And I'm really happy with how it had turned out. I haven't gotten to wear it because, like I said, the weather has been really weird lately, and it's either freezing where I need to wear like a jacket and a sweater and like another jacket and all this stuff, or I just wear a t-shirt. But anyway, I am excited to wear it, and I think it's gonna be one of those pieces that I'll have forever. Just found an end to weave in. So basically this is what I was looking at. I was trying to use only one like what I had in my stash, and I just had 1.5 balls of this Knitting for Olive, and so I cut off like the cast on, like the leftover cast on edge after I wove it in, and I used that for the bind off because I really was like I didn't want to buy more. Anyway, so I got this yarn from my stash, which was awesome, and I decided it needed to be finished first because it was my test knit. It's not due for a while, but anyway, if you don't have a collar, they seem like they're very in right now. And this was a great brioche project. If you're a lot of the test knitters, it was their first brioche project, and so it seemed like it worked out really well for them. I think it was my second, so still a new brioche knitter, and I would definitely recommend it. It is a lovely construction. It was, you know, very intuitive. Yeah, it was wonderful. So I used Suri, Lang Suri and Knitting for Olive held together. So I believe it's like a worsted weight. And yeah, it's very warm and cozy. and then you fold the collar down. I'll probably fold mine inside, to be honest. Maybe even tack it down. But, oh yeah, that looks so good. Yeah, I think I'll do this, so. Anyway, so that was the first thing that I said, okay, I have to knock something off. And then I went through and I did it truly how you're supposed to do it for the snowball method, which is to, what did she say? Hannah said to do the ones that take the least amount of time. Okay, so the second thing that I decided would take like the least amount of time was to fix my son's hat. So I made him a new hat. We went and picked out the yarn. He picked it out himself. He chose this beautiful Brooklyn Tweed Arbor color, and because I had a Brooklyn Tweed Arbor in white in my stash, and so I wanted to use the same yarn, and I used it for a colorwork hat, and so anyway, it worked out. He picked out this lovely blue, and I made him a hat. It was a little short. Like, I made a colorwork chart, and it was just a little short, and so anyway, I wanted to add length to it. I also needed to add length to my dad's sweater, and so I thought this would be a good trial run for that. So this is the hat. Yeah, it's a Mickey. So he loves Mickey, and we are taking him to Disney. And so I wanted to make him this hat so that he could have a new hat for our trip. Anyway, it was a little short because I just made the chart and I was so excited, and so I just knit it. And then I was like, oh, it needs a little more length. And so I added, you can tell because I didn't reblock it, I added this right here. I explained it to a friend, like picking up for an afterthought. That's weird. Picking up for an afterthought heel. So that's kind of how you set it up. And then I just cut the stitches in the middle and they were separated for a while. And then I knit some more blue and some more white to add about an inch of length here. And yeah, I didn't reblock it, but looking at it now, I think I probably should. So it was surprisingly easy. I ended up just grafting the stitches back together. I looked for a tutorial. I couldn't find one. So if you have a good tutorial for like adding length to something, put it in the comments for all our other friends that need to add length. But yeah, it was my first time trying it, and it was really easy. It didn't take long at all. I was surprised by how well it worked. I know this is not new, it's just new to me. And so yeah, I was really thrilled with how it worked, and I hope that he likes it. I have an end left because it still needs a pom-pom. So I guess it's not technically finished because I need to add a pom-pom. So cute. I hope it's cold enough while we're there for him to wear it. If not, I've been trying to like have him wear it now, but he's really attached to the hat he currently wears all the time that I made him, this one, and so he doesn't really want to wear this one, even though it has Mickey on it. I don't know, I thought he would really love it, but because he picked out the yarn and everything, I don't know. You can't even tell where I grafted the stitches, just maybe a little bit of the tension, but anyway, so this was the second project I finished. And the next one was, I don't have a finished object because it was for my dad's sweater. So I did the hat first, and then I added the length to my dad's sweater. This was like the practice. And then the real deal was adding length to his sweater. So if you have followed me for a while, you know I knit my dad a sweater for his birthday. It ended up being a little bit short, which I had anticipated because after I blocked it, I was like, that looks a little short. Like the arms look a little long or something. So the arms were correct. The body was a little short. So I ended up doing it the same way as I did the hat. I cut off the ribbing, put my needles in, cut off the ribbing, and I just knit down. So this was knit up, and then I knit down for the sweater since it was top down. And I knit 2 inches, and then I grafted the ribbing back on. It may have been faster to just re-knit the ribbing, but I guess I really wanted to work on my grafting skills. So I grafted it back together, and yeah, I reblocked just like the bottom half. He tried it on. He's really happy with it. The length looks great. So yes, it worked out. I don't know. I don't think it could have worked out better. I was so nervous about it. And I think that is why I was putting it off. And when I really like wrote down, you know, what projects do I have left, how much time do I think they'll take, it really did not take long. And I don't know if you have projects you've been putting off, or just even in your everyday life, things you've been putting off. Like I have a lot of those. It was a good lesson for me that it really did not take long. As long as I had put it off and had been dreading it for, it took like maybe an hour or two. And most of it was just been grafting. So, okay, the fourth thing that I finished, the whole time I'm like, I just want to add the sleeves to my sweater. I just want to add the sleeves. But then I was like, okay, I need to get this done. I just want to do it all. So the fourth thing that I finished was a slipover for my mom. I don't have it because I gave it to her yesterday, but I do have a picture of her wearing it. I'll put it here. Yeah, so I knit the slipover in the same yarn that I knit my dad's sweater. So I used 1 ball of the Ecological wool by Cascade yarns, and it's in the white Undyed. So it's the same yarn I used for my dad's sweater. And it's so warm and so soft. And she said she tried it on, and then after she took it off, she's like, why am I so cold? I was like, oh, because I was wearing the slipover you made me because it was so warm. So I think she likes it. Yeah, so it's kind of like an early birthday present since her birthday's over the summer. I wanted to gift her something that I knit, but I wanted her to have, you know, ample time to wear it while it's still cold here, because it is not cold in June in North Carolina. Maybe in the mountains occasionally, but not where we live. So anyway, I knit the Stockholm slipover, and my gauge was a little bit off, and so I knit the second size, but it's blocked to the size of the measurements for the third size. And so that worked out really well to give her the same amount of ease that's recommended in the pattern. I don't know what happened to my gauge. I mentioned in my last video, I think I swatched with a different size needle than I knit with. So I think that's what happened, but it worked out. So that is good. Yeah, actually, I think that was all the things that I was working on. And then the last one was my sweater. And I had planned to finish this for Valentine's Day. Obviously, I finished it sooner. This is my Cambys sweater by Orlane of Tete Beche Knitwear. It's I used Vovo by Rosa Pomar. It's really hard to see the color. Even this looks different than when it's on me. But this is, the color is light pink, I believe. And I will stand up so you can see it. Has this cute cable here. Yeah, shows you the cables and all that. I love it so much. I have been wanting to make the sweater for a really long time, and I just kept putting it off. I don't know why. It's a theme for me. But anyway, this was the last thing I did, and I just had the sleeves left, and I did them in about 2 days time. I did the sleeves 2 at a time, so I don't know if anyone else does that. It's very similar to doing socks 2 at a time. However, I've shared this before, I'm incapable of doing socks 2 at a time, but somehow I can do the sleeves 2 at a time, maybe because it's bigger and I can see it and it's not like getting twisted and all that. It's attached to the sweater. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'll put a picture up of what that looks like for me. I find it really helpful because I tend to like forget how many rows have I worked. This was a little complicated because it had the cable and the like stitch pattern, but it wasn't hard. I was like really excited about how fast it went, and yeah, so that is how I did the sleeves. And then I did not do them 2 at a time for the ribbing because it was getting tedious. But I was gonna have to do magic loop anyway because of just the needle size and the cords that I have. And so doing magic loop with like 1 sleeve here, just knit across, flip it, knit across. And so it actually, I think it might have been faster than doing them separately because I would have to do magic loop, and then I would do magic loop over here, and then, you know. So I think that it was faster. It seemed really fast. This is sport weight, so that seems really fast to me. They're a little bit like cropped, like maybe bracelet length, maybe a little bit longer. Full length, but not extra. I'm not sure what you call that, just regular. Anyway, I did like a little tubular bind off. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love it. So I have this much left. I shared before that I had got an extra skein because I usually don't, and then I'm usually worried about it. Anyway, now I have an extra one that's untouched. And then I have, this is about total, it's like 65 grams left. So it's not a lot, but I'm gonna keep it and just save all my Vovo. I think I have a little bit left in like a purple color that I previously made a sweater with. So I don't really get rid of yarn if I have like this much because I don't know what I will make, but I could use it in like a colorwork sweater. That would be lovely. Contrast color. But yeah, this is like my ideal color. So I'm definitely gonna keep this and make something else with it. But yeah, I'm just like over, as they say, over the moon with this sweater. I love it. I'm gonna show you again because I really like it. It was just the right amount of texture for me. It was a little hard to get started with because it was like top down. It had all this like texture and cables while you're doing increases, but yeah, I really liked it. Very happy with it. Definitely recommend it. So anyway, wow, I'm still on finished objects. It was so long. Okay, so those are my finished objects between last week or 2 weeks ago and now. And works in progress, I just have this one. This is my blanket. Purl Soho Prism blanket, knit along. They sent me this beautiful yarn. It's good wool, which I love. And I shared before that it was going to be my weekend project where I do one of these blocks per weekend. So it's been 4 weekends since I started it, and I've only done 2, as you can see. So the last 2 weekends, our family has been sick, unfortunately, and I have gotten about 0 knitting done on the weekends. So yes, that is why I do not have anything to show for this. I was hoping to have 2 more blocks this week when I was thinking about it, but again, I was saving it for the weekends, and then we were sick on the weekends, and so yeah. But I think I will put some time into it this week because I don't have like another cast on, and probably to save myself from casting on 1,000 things again, I'm just gonna work on this one work in progress. But I am using the 3rd contrast color, which is this lovely white, and I feel like it's gonna change, you know, how the blanket is coming together. And so I'm nervous because I really like, you know, this part, but I think it will be nice. I'm also gonna use the other contrast color, or the other main color, which is like a rosy pink. It's very vibrant. So yeah, I've shared before the inspiration is just like the color of our house and stuff. This is basically the same color. Also, I was thinking about how it's very spring in the sense of like the cherry blossoms. The other color is a very bright pink, and when I went to the Arboretum near us recently with my son, and my favorite thing is to look at the pink magnolias and the red bud, the early blooms that come in like January and February. So yeah, mostly it looks like a red bud tree, and I'm obsessed, and that's fine with me that it's like magnolia colors or red bud colors, because you have like the white of the sky, and then this is kind of tree barky, and like the pink, and then there's the bright pink, and this gray's there too somewhere. So yeah, I realized that that might have been my like subliminal inspiration, but I'll put a clip here of when we were there and saw some of the blooms. So anyway, I did have one last thing on my podcast I talked about 2 weeks ago, and that was a hat for my husband's friend and for his birthday, which is like months away. And I was making a muscle bird. But I ended up frogging it when I was going through my WIPs and deciding what to do, because I decided I want to make a different hat for him. But I still love that pattern. I don't know. I was just knitting it, and it's all stockinette, and it's like this, you know, 20-inch long tube. And I decided that that was just not going to keep my attention. And so I decided I'm going to make him a hat with a pattern that I recently released. By the way, this is Lucky Tweed by Kelburn Woolens. And I just released a hat pattern. It's this hat. This is the Park Day beanie. It's in sizes from newborn, teeny tiny, to adult. So I think it's like 12 inches finished to 22 inches finished. So yes, so that would be like to fit a 24-inch head. It's like the largest. But yeah, so it's like kids and adults. It's just the first time I've ever done a pattern that's kids and adults. So It's just a hat, but still. I was like, wow, something new, this is exciting. So I made the sample for my husband and my son, and they wear them constantly. They wear them all the time, and everywhere they go, people like stop them and tell them they love their hats. And my husband, I just kind of like thank you. But my husband's always like, yes, my wife made them. She knits, you know, patterns, and she designed it, and all this very, very sweet stuff. So anyway, you can tell, like, I mean, my husband wears his a good amount, but Ollie wears his every single day. And you can tell, like, this is my husband's, and then this is Ollie's, and it is like so in need of like a pill removal because the yarn I use is so soft. It's Purl Soho worsted twist. Didn't weave in the end. Oops. God, that's probably really bothering my husband, and he hasn't said anything. But anyway, so I need to remove the pills for Ollie. But yeah. Anyway, I love it. You can buy it in my Ravelry shop. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna make this for my husband's friend because one, it's more engaging because cables, but two, it's like my pattern and I'm familiar with it and I liked knitting it, and so yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna switch it up and do this. Yeah, Park Day beanie. That is what I decided to do for him. So gotta start my WIP down again and cut this end off, but anyway, yeah, those are just my one work in progress, and then I have this again, which maybe I'll just put it away and restart it in a few months. Anyway, yeah, I don't have any acquisitions to share. I shared before that I am trying to work through my yarn stash this year, rather than bringing in new yarn, but I support you bringing in new yarn, and all of that. I just, it's just personal. I have a lot of yarn, and yeah, I want to work through some projects like similar to this. I had this in my queue for so long, and I finally did it, and I'm so happy with it. And I need help deciding what to cast on next. I like to have like a sweater going for myself, and then I'll have this project going on. But yes, I am going to show you some pictures of what I'm thinking about casting on next. Like, these are things that I have had for so long in my queue. I have the yarn. I just don't know. Should I start the November jacket? That feels like it will take forever. I know it will. People have said that it will. Should I start something that won't take as long? Should I start something I can wear in the spring? My second option for what I'm thinking about casting on, I have the November jacket in brown, and then I have this beautiful Mondim purple that will be perfect for spring. And I kind of think I should cast this on because then I can finish it and wear it in the spring, and I can save the November jacket to knit that across the summer and have it ready for the fall. So I'm leaning towards this purple one, but I don't have a pattern picked out for it. So if you have a fingering weight pattern that you really like, please let me know. I'm open to a cardigan or a pullover sweater. I'm leaning towards a cardigan, but I haven't knit a fingering weight cardigan before. Maybe a pullover then. So anyway, yes, please help me decide what to cast on now that I've finished this sweater. I'm leaning towards the purple so I can wear it in the spring, but also I just really want to have my November jacket done. I don't know. Anyway, leave me a comment and let me know. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. You can see my videos every other Thursday when they come out. So I hope you have a lovely weekend and happy knitting.